The city never truly slept, but that August night felt different. New York shimmered with an energy all its own, the hum of traffic, the glow of streetlights, and the restless pulse of its people blending into a soft, intoxicating rhythm. Emily Carter, 24, fresh out of Columbia, wandered through it with a notebook tucked under her arm, a heart brimming with curiosity. Days were for serving coffee, nights for chasing stories no one else had yet imagined. Coming from a small Ohio town where every life was measured and contained, New York was overwhelming, intoxicating, and utterly alive. She stood on the rooftop of the Standard High Line, her crimson dress brushing softly against her legs with the summer breeze. The crowd around her was a blur, tourists trying to belong, finance professionals seeking attention, models posing for photos. Yet Emily felt oddly removed, as if the city itself had cleared space just for her. A martini in her hand buzzed pleasantly under her skin, adding weightless confidence to her every movement. That's when she saw him. Zain Malik. He didn't push through the crowd. He didn't need to. Dark hair, tailored navy suit, and an aura of calm confidence that made him stand out without a word. His eyes met hers and held, steady, unflinching, and her stomach tightened in response. There was something magnetic in his quiet presence, something that demanded attention without demanding it. He approached slowly, deliberately, giving the impression he owned the space between them. "Not from around here?" Emily asked, playful, teasing. "Guilty," he said, his accent rolling smooth and deliberate, like a melody. "But you belong here. You scream this city." "American girl through and through," as she replied, tilting her head, teasing. "Emily. And you?" "Zain," he answered, signaling the bartender without breaking eye contact. "Another for her, and whatever she's having." Conversation flowed easily. Emily spoke of her scripts, dark rom-coms set in skyscrapers, chance encounters, whispered secrets, fleeting connections. Zain shared pieces of his life, long nights in boardrooms, anonymous wanderings in cities where no one knew him, and the thrill of doing something unexpected. Words alone weren't enough to capture the tension building between them. Every glance, every brush of hands, every subtle smile carried a charge that made the air electric. Hours passed unnoticed. The rooftop gradually emptied until they were nearly alone. When Zain extended his hand, it was less a question and more a statement. Emily hesitated, then placed her hand in his, and the moment seemed to stretch infinitely in the glow of Manhattan below. The elevator ride to his suite was quiet, heavy with anticipation. The doors opened to a room with floor-to-ceiling windows, offering a panoramic view of the city that glittered like spilled diamonds. Neon lights reflected in her green eyes, making them seem brighter than ever, almost luminous. They stood close, shoulders brushing, the warmth between them tangible. Hands occasionally met, fingers grazing briefly but meaningfully. Emily laughed softly when he adjusted a stray lock of hair, his fingers brushing her cheek in a way that sent a shiver through her. The night unfolded slowly, deliberately. They poured wine, fed each other strawberries, whispered jokes, and laughed quietly. Every touch, every shared glance, every small, deliberate brush of fingers hinted at intimacy without ever needing to cross boundaries. The thrill was in the anticipation, the closeness, the small, teasing gestures that felt electric and personal. The city outside continued its restless rhythm, but inside, time seemed to stretch and fold around them. They traced patterns on the window glass, whispered half-jokes, shared stolen smiles. Every touch, every soft laugh, every quiet moment felt like its own private world. Morning arrived gently, sunlight spilling into the suite. Zain brewed coffee while Emily stretched, the sheets warm against her skin. Conversation was soft, playful, and intimate. Fingers brushed as they handed each other fruit. Elbows collided lightly, smiles lingered longer than necessary, and the chemistry between them grew more potent with each quiet exchange. The day passed in a haze of quiet adventure. They wandered through hidden parks, tiny cafes tucked away from the throngs of tourists, discovered murals and street art that seemed known only to locals. Each laugh, each gentle touch, each playful push or pull, strengthened the bond between them. It was flirtation, it was intimacy, it was connection, all safe and teasing but intensely alive. Evening brought them to a hidden Italian restaurant in the village. Candlelight flickered across the table, glasses clinked softly, and under the table, fingers brushed, hands met lightly, legs shifted subtly closer. Each touch was a spark, sending warmth through both of them. Every word, every smile, every glance was loaded with chemistry, but entirely suggestive, safe, and cinematic. Returning to the hotel suite, candles cast dancing shadows along the walls. They moved like dancers through the room, hands brushing, shoulders touching, laughing softly. Every gesture was intimate, a hand resting lightly on another, a playful nudge, eyes locking in silent conversation. They explored closeness and warmth without needing explicit actions. Every moment built a private world where nothing outside could reach them. The following morning, sunlight spilled through the windows again. Coffee on the balcony, quiet conversation, lingering touches, playful teasing. It all continued naturally. Fingers brushed when parsing items, elbows accidentally met, laughter spilled freely. The intimacy was romantic and suggestive, yet perfectly safe for any audience. Eventually, Zain's flight arrived. Emily left a note on hotel stationery. Some nights don't need to last forever. They just need to leave an imprint. She walked into the bustling streets of New York, carrying only her notebook, her memories, and the warmth of the connection she had found. Every turn, every street, every glint of neon reminded her of the moments they shared. Months later, scrolling through social media, she saw a photograph of him in Dubai, skyline behind him, smiling. She smiled back, knowing some connections don't need continuation to remain unforgettable. They linger, like city lights reflected on water, glowing bright and leaving a lasting mark. Some stories don't need sequels. They exist quietly, burning in memory, intimate, romantic, and alive, leaving the heart lighter and the soul warmer.